Hello and welcome back to the finishing line, proudly sponsored by Glistian events, and I don't know what that noise was. We are here for the second part of our horses to follow, and it's our chasers. Same again, 2 novice chasers, 2 open chasers, and a dark horse. Tom is back. Tom was supposed to be here at 8 p.m. Tom went and got a kebab, and the kebab man made the kebab wrong. It's not a joke. No, it's a real fucking story. Tom hasn't been on the podcast in maybe 3 weeks. Tom still manages to be late because he's getting a kebab, and the man put chili sauce on the kebab instead of garlic sauce. And apparently, Tom gets these kebabs all the time, and he always gets garlic sauce. So not only is Tom late, he's a lying bollocks because he's not supposed to be having kebabs because he's supposed to be fucking training.
Scam alert.
So Tom is back. He said he'll arrive here wherever he sees fit. So King Tom will be here soon with his first world problems, the kebab with the chili sauce. Andrew, how you doing?
Sound like I'm better than you anyway.
I'm up since 5 o'clock working all day to listen to a man be late because he's getting I just give...
See, do you know what the difference is, me and you? I'm up around saying I'm 6. But you let it bother you. I just go...
You didn't have to... You deal with your kids that you made.
No, I don't deal with kids. I deal with dopes on laptops.
You made...
Who can't do their job properly and can't do graphics properly. I send you an email. All you have to do is download the fucking thing. Sorry, go on.
I've been...
Yeah, you're kind of a counsellor.
I've been basically counselling people since 5 o'clock this morning. I don't need this shit. Sean, how are you doing?
I just got a whole lot better. That rant was fucking brilliant. So, I think we should roll on.
Do you know the podcast that we done the other day?
Rant isn't over.
And it was about like hurlers and so on and so forth. And people seem to enjoy it. People text me about the start of the podcast when we were talking about how long you last.
Oh, we were, weren't we?
And I got a really funny message from someone. A voice message, no less. Won't mention who it is.
I'll mention. You have to know.
No one will mention who it is. And he said, Dave, do you know what they're talking about stamina there? I have none. I have fucking no stamina. I am Batash. I've 5 furlongs and I have nothing else. That was a good podcast. I think that's what the message said.
Head down, boom. You either like it or you lump it.
So that's the way this week has been, though.
Look, yesterday it was fun as well. But we're not going to talk about the elephant room. Why we're not going to talk about
it. There's a lot of news, national hunt news, and you know what? It is plain to see how much better or how much more loved the national hunt is than the flat, because in the course of one day, maybe 6 hours, Nicky Henderson and Willie Mullins managed to break Twitter with a couple of pieces of news, and none of that went on in the flat. But we're going to leave that till Sunday, and we'll dedicate a whole show to the news that's come out over. And if there's more news to come from now till Sunday, about Constitution Hill and Imperial Pass and so on and so forth, we'll have a discussion, and we'll get all your comments and go through a lot of the comments as well and see what the crack is. Sean, Shifty Lad, said there's a bad echo from Sean. So talk again there.
That's just when I talk, it's just going through. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you. Does it echo when you're talking there? Did it echo? He's gone. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, no, I could hear the echo. I could hear myself talking.
Okay, well, look, we'll just do what we done last week, and I don't know what the hell is going on here. But go on.
Kubo's sitting at the airport picking up the dragon, and all I can hear is Wally's echo. Get it sorted, Wally. Fuck off. It's been a long day.
You need to chill.
That's what I think about that. Okay, we're going to kick off anyway. Same again. We'll let Sean go first. Novice Chasers first, and when Tom comes in, Tom is going to do all his chasers and all his hurdlers today. So we're
No,
going to
he's not doing all his hurdlers today.
When's he doing his hurdler?
He's doing his hurdler Sunday.
Tom's going to do his hurdler Sunday. Another.
We literally had a conversation about this.
If it was today, I am working all day.
It was your idea, man.
No, the whole idea was
The Con Hill and Imperia Pass and said we'd put Tom's.
Oh, I didn't read the messages after that.
You said
Too busy.
yeah, exactly.
No, yeah, but I just said yeah to most things.
Some dick.
I'm too busy. Sean, we will echo our side, or we will mute our side rather than echo our side, and leave you further away. Novice Chasers.
I have him in singular graphics now, so there's not the two of them. So get ready for whichever one. Oh, look, Judas is here. He's back.
Tom, you're getting muted for a minute. Sean is on the clock here.
No, Tom, you talk for a minute. Can you hear an echo?
No.
You can hear yourself, Morgan.
Yeah, now I can hear myself.
What the hell is going on? All right. Anyway, Sean, I'm going to put up your.
Yeah, so my first novice chaser to follow is going to be Giovinco, trained by Lucinda Russell. He's a massive. Chasing's going to be his game. You seen him last season where he made 3 starts over hurdles and he won 2 novices. He won by 11 and 9 lengths, and he was very impressive. Very, very impressive. He was then stepped up in class among the Punchestown Festival. Many people probably might have missed him. He ran at Perth. He went off a big price of 10-1 that day. And he was in against the Nichols short horse who had won a Grade 2 Bartlett Trial. And he was also in against the horse called Hurricane Bay, who was toured in the Bartlett Trial at Doncaster behind Stay Away Faye and Maximilian. He absolutely bolted up that day. He won by 10 lengths on the steel, as Dave would tell you. He didn't go to the Aintree where Appleway went, but I think this lad could be just as good as him. I think chasing is going to be where he makes his game, and I expect him to reach heights of probably Grade 1 level and end up in an RSA. You might see him up north starting off in a novice chase somewhere and maybe come down for a Newbury race, but I really think this lad can go to the top level, and I expect to see him at Cheltenham time.
Sean, not a bad shout. Giovinco looks a nice horse. Again, I don't think Martin will be happy in the comments. He doesn't like Lucinda Russell, but that's okay because not everybody has to like everybody. Don't know what happened to Tom. He just cancelled himself out, and then Andrew got rid. Tom's back. Hello, Tom.
Hey guys, my camera was flickering then, and it was annoying me, let alone the viewers. So I said I'd scrap the good camera and go back to the computer camera. So.
There's a lot of technical.
Did you enjoy your kebab?
Did, yeah. I had a bit of a disaster. Was trying to order the kebab on the phone on the way. They wouldn't answer. Got to the kebab shop. He kind of doesn't talk much. So I just said to him, like, a doner kebab with everything but no garlic sauce, which is what I always order. And he just kind of nodded, told me the price. I went to get cash. I came back. He was making 2 kebabs at the same time. And he put garlic on the first one. So I was like, it's not mine. So he's making the second one. And he puts whatever on it. And he grabs the garlic straight all over it. And he hands it to me. I'm like, mate, I'm sorry. There's no garlic. Before I said no chili. But it's what I always order. He should know by now. So remake of the garlic kebab. There was a few swear words in, I think, Turkish or something. But yeah, what can you do? There's a nice kebab.
Just eat the fucking thing.
That was a sensational story. Tom, your first novice chaser.
First novice chaser is going to be in the pocket. It's not. It's going to be Corbett's Cross. It's not Moscada either. Yeah, we'll go for Corbett's Cross as the first one then. Look, obviously Eugene O'Sullivan did a very good job of him. He's then been bought by Paul Byrne for Emmett Mullins. He's gone and won well. He's gone to Cheltenham. He was going to be placed at least, I think. I'm not sure he was done with it all coming to the last, and he's gone and ducked out. I think they were saying when they bought him to be a chaser. And just in an open division, I think Gavin Lynch was saying today that the prices of the Novice Chasers at the festival, like, you know, it's kind of 12-1 bar in some races, and I just think he's got a live chance. I think he's going in under the radar because, you know, he didn't cross the finish line at Cheltenham, well, with a rider on him anyway. I'm quite keen on him in the staying novice division.
Very good. Nice horse. Ran out of Cheltenham, but looked nice until that point.
He was grand till then.
Yeah, nice horse. Probably a decent race. Andrew, your first novice chaser to follow.
My first one is Champ Kiley. I know Sean's been going on that Willie doesn't really have a 3 mile novice hurdler or novice chaser going this season, but I think this fella could be the one. Look, he's a horse that has form over 2 mile and 2 mile 4 plus. Look, he's this kind of horse that you'll see run in the grade ones as a novice hurdler. He's just not good enough to beat the top lads, and it's a case of, if you can't beat him now, let's go chasing. And I would personally step him up and trip. Look, he won his maiden at Galway. That was over 2 mile 5. He won that by 21 lengths on the steel. I have no doubt this fellow will stay 3 miles. He's a bit mental. He does a few things wrong, but I think a year under his belt, settles down a bit more. I think there'll be no problem. He went on to win grade 3 over 2 miles by 4.5 lengths. Then he was 4.5 lengths behind Marine National and the Royal Bond, where he actually went off 10 to 11 favours. Back with a bang then over 2 mile 4 where he beat Irish Point, the horse you like.
I do. I like Irish Point.
Irish Point. He beat him by 4.5 lengths. Then you roll on to Cheltenham, where he was behind Imperi Pass and Gaelic Warrior. To me, he stays on at the end of the race again. He got just pipped by Gaelic Warrior, who we all think if he goes hurdling, he's going to be the Stairs hurdle winner. And then Punchdown is Punchdown. It's the end of the season, the end of a long season, because he started off. Top maiden, I think, was at the Galway Festival, so he was on the go since then. It's a wide open, as Tom alluded, they are staying division over fences, and I think this fella is going to play a big part in it. He's running the right races. He's finished behind the right horses. I think the step up and trip will be absolutely no problem. I think he is, what price is he for the 20s? 20s for the Brown Advisory. I think that'd be the race for him, and I think if he goes there, he'll be paying his way throughout the season. Yeah, so Champ Kiley, the first novice chaser.
Very good. My first novice chaser, whichever one Andrew puts up, is In the Pocket. For the Arkell Turners, they are 16 and 14. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for the Arkell, to be honest. He was running over 2 miles a lot last year. But I just like him. One or two of Henry's horses I do tend to like. I like In the Pocket last year. Me and Tom backed him at Aintree. We thought it was kind of the right race for him towards the end of the season. And he tends to like that soft ground that ended up at Aintree last season. Looks like a chaser. He's a big scopy looking yoke, a big long yoke. I'd like to see him. Maybe we get to have a look at him if we go visit Pastoral there out in Henry's. But I think he's a nice horse. I think speaker is too loud. We'll turn down the volume. I think he'll make a nice chaser. He looks the part, and I have a funny feeling Andrew and Tom will say the same. So he's my first one to follow, and I hope he has a good season.
Funny enough, we might.
Yeah. Sean, your second novice chaser to follow for the season.
Yeah, my second novice chaser is going to be Mr. Policeman, trained by Willie Mullins. Beautiful, Tommy. I just had to learn how, Tommy. Tom, you go look him up on your racing post there.
That was like a Conor McGregor thing. Who the fuck is that guy?
Watch Tom look him up and anyways. I wouldn't be surprised if he backs him by the time he runs. But he came over to Willys from France and he had 2 runs in France where, let's say, he was learning on the job the first time. He was out the back, wasn't jumping too well. But then he bolted up the next day and then he was bought by Rich. He was off the track for 12 months before he made his debut for Willie when he was conceding weight away in an open hurdle against horses like Cashback, solid handicappers where you know the mark. Thrown in first time in a race like that, I thought was a bit of a stance. Then to be sent off even money, this probably tells you what they think of this fella. He's only had 1 run last season and he was put away. He sat in behind that day, settled beautifully, jumped very, very well, in my opinion. For a first time out over hurdles, jumped very well, and I think he'll take the fences quite well. As I touched on, he beat the likes of Cashback, solid horses, and I think he's going to come in keen now. With the likes of Imperial Pass, who's staying hurdling, I think he's a horse who could go between 2 and 2.5 miles. I wouldn't be surprised if they start them off slowly, going to beginners, maybe stepped up into grade 3 company, and then perhaps get into a grade 1 around the Dublin Racing Festival time. I don't think he'd be thrown straight into a grade 1 after winning his beginners. I think he's a high-class horse. I think he'll make it to Cheltenham. I'm just not sure what race he's going to go in at the moment. I think a lot dictates around Facile Vega. If he comes out and he's winning the grade 1s, I think Mr. Policeman could end up being pushed up in trip. Or if Facile Vega loses, perhaps he'd be stepped up in trip and Mr. Policeman stays at 2 miles. But I think he's definitely a horse that should be on your radar. And at 20 to 1 and 25 to 1 for the Arkles and Turners, I think you'll be hearing a lot about this fella this season.
Tom, any comments?
Just backing him.
No, just Googling it.
He's what?
He's Googling it.
Oh,
He's trying to get a bet on the Betfair, I think. Is that what you're saying, Tom?
That's it, yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah, Kubo likes this horse well, so you haven't fucking hope, Sean. Sorry. I don't see it.
He's on the radar. Probably many people are going to have the same reaction as Tom, to be quite honest with you. Who is this fella? 1 race at Cork, but I think he could be a very decent horse.
An okay horse, but Arkle winners, I don't see it, and I reckon. I don't know. Yeah, I reckon I could saddle up Molly, my Jack Russell, and she'd probably be Cashback at this stage of his career. Your second Novice Chaser.
Now I have to be careful with this now because that looks like in the pocket. Is it? There we go.
Sorry, I've got so many screens over here. I keep losing them. Yeah, in the pocket is mine. I was lucky enough to see him at Henry's the other day, and he looks immense. A really good looking horse. And yeah, if you look at his form of last season, like he ran a couple of solid races in defeat. He was second to Ilite Tomps in a grade 1 at Leopardstown at the Dublin Racing Festival. And then he went on and he was 4th in the Supreme. That was quite a good run, I think. The second probably isn't that much good in it, but apart from that, I'd say the form probably stacks up, you know. And then he's gone and done it well at Aintree against a horse, Strong Leader, who looks like he's improving all the time, and Lucia, who's highly touted. I think he's definitely a chaser, and I think he's one of those classic Henry horses who could go and improve for a fence. And I think he's got every chance to go and make into a proper top-notch chaser. Whether it be the Arkle or the Turners, I'm not 100% sure. I think anti-post betting this year, that's going to be very hard. So we'll keep the powder dry for a little bit longer. But I think he's a horse to follow this season.
You had a little dig at Vega there, on you.
Did you keep your powder dry so far, Tom, on anti-post betting?
1 anti-post bet, Dave, and it's down to money, but it doesn't matter. We'll get it back.
The answer to your question, the answer to the question was no. Andrew, your Novice Chaser to follow, second one.
My second Novice Chaser is Shakar in the pocket. Now, look, I'm not going to add much more to what the lad said. Look, his form last season was decent enough. He's kind of on the same mold as Champ Kiley, in where he's finishing placed in the right races, getting beat by the right horses, getting beat by Marine Nationale, goes on any ground, runs over any trip, 2 mile, 2.5 mile. Won a grade 1 already at Aintree, but I agree with you. I think he's going to be an Arkle horse. He's a horse that stays further, and in these Arkles, 90% of the time, there's a tendency if a horse is out in front to go off like the clappers. You've horses that won it who shown better form over further, like Shiskin, Footpad, Undersow, Captain Chris, Tidal Bay, all showing better form over further. And I think he's the type of horse in an Arkle where if they go off like the clappers, he's going to be the one staying strong at the finish. So I think, was he 14s for the Arkle? I think right now that's a great bet. Look, Marine National is obviously the one they're all going to have to beat in that. But I think he doesn't have that much to find on him, and you'd be surprised how much a fence can improve a horse, especially coming from Henry, and he knows how he's dab-handed winning the Arkles. He's with Size in Europe. He's won it with Special Tiara. Put kettle on.
Special Tiara won Champion Chase.
Champion Chase, sorry, yeah. But anyway, yeah, he's dab-handed winning these 2 mile championship races and novice championship races. So I think I think he's a great bet for the Arkle for this season, and even going forward throughout the season. I think he'll go under the radar because he's not sexy per se. He's there.
Absolute Tom won a 2 mile championship race at Leopardstown as well.
Oh, yeah, I absolutely hope Mr. Policeman race against him one day.
So do I. And you'd be like, Tom be like, oh, look, who's that out the back of the telly? Mr. Policeman. Or as we like to call it, Mr. Police Them, to keep everyone happy.
Oh, well, let's not go down that road. Sean, Mr. Policeman, probably bad news, but good news for you. Arsenal are winning 2-0.
2-0.
Nonetheless. 2-0. They're flying. And your first open chaser for the season to follow.
Oh, God. I hope this is right. There's so many graphics I had to do.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, well, would you look at that?
In a year of it's a tough one for an open chasers, like the Champion Chase and the Gold Cup, like they're not really markets that you can sort of go at the moment. I think they're set in stone and it's hard to get away from the horse at the top of the market. But so I digged in for one in a handicap, and he's potentially a horse who's going to do it once, maybe twice this season. And his name is Monbeg Genius. He's trained by Jonbon O'Neill. Progressive handicapper. He picked up 3 runs last season. He picked up 3 wins, last season. 2 at Chepstow and 1 at what's the other one? I think it was 3. It was a 3 at Chepstow he picked up, but he got 3 wins in anyways. And Jonbon O'Neill done a good job in winning and keeping as plenty up his sleeve as possible. He then rolled up to the Cheltenham Festival in the Ultima, where he was backed into favourite that day. He was backed into 6-1 favourite. He was in the rear, held up, ran very well, and got to the top of the straight. And I backed him that day, and I thought I had a chance of winning. But long and behold, came Corey Grambler and Fast or Slow. The 3 of them pulled about 8 lengths clear. He pulled 8 lengths clear the 4th that day, and 2 lengths behind Corey Grambler and Fast or Slow. Subsequently, we seen what Corey Grambler went on to do since. He went and bolted up in the Grand National, and Fast or Slow won the Punchestown Grade 1. I know perhaps Galopin Deschamps and Brave Man's Game might have slightly underperformed that day, but 2 good runs, and he did not come out after Cheltenham this season. He was put away. I can see him possibly being aimed at something like a Newbury Hennessy, or maybe going to Chepstow for a Coral Welsh National. They're the sort of races I think he'd be aimed at this season. And off a mark of 147, I think he has a bit of wiggle room to win a race. So a horse maybe slightly left field and one for a handicap. Monbeg Genius.
We're going to test this for a minute. I tried something there. Talk for a minute and see if you still hear yourself.
Hello.
Can you still hear me?
You still hear yourself?
Only just though. No.
There's something wrong with the laptop, I'd say. I realised that I never gave my second novice chaser there.
Oh, didn't you?
And I'm going to put Andrew under pressure with the graphics here to find it.
Boom.
But it could only ever be one, really, couldn't it?
Sure, look. Be rude if you didn't.
It's Vega. It had to be Vega. Tom
Novice.
can make all the little jokes and remarks all he wants. Clear as day, he was being bashing Imperial Pass at home over the fences. So that's, you know what I mean? One's staying fencing, one's going back hurdling, and Tom can't take it. And he said he'd say yes when he was wrong, and he still won't say it anyway.
This is going to be fun in the comments.
And you know what? He's still 6-1 for the Turners.
Yeah, he is.
I still think he'll go for the Turners.
So do I.
I still think Marine National will go for the Arkle. Why don't you go in there tomorrow, have a little, never mind what Tom said about hold your horses, have a little bet, anti-post bet, Marine National, Arkle, Faso Vega, Turners.
Guess what?
Come back on March, clicked, money, go to the pub.
8-1, 6-1, double. Done about 4 months ago.
Enjoy it.
I will.
There you
Every
go.
penny of it.
Tom, your
Oh, sorry. I muted you there. Sorry.
your first open chaser for the 2023 winter season.
Give me a second, Tom.
Somebody did just comment in the comments there. New Cliff Horse alert. I love it. I love it. Okay, so yeah, the open chase is a little bit difficult what to pick. I decided to go a little bit left field and go with Mascada. Not sure if she's going to go down the mare's chase route, if they might see if there's another handicap in her. She's going to have to be very good to win a handicap. She's right at 151. My angle in here, she's actually only had 5 runs for Henry since coming over from Stuart Edmonds. That first season they got her, they just threw into a grade 1 novice. She's only beaten 13 lengths. She ran quite a good race that day. She fell at Fairy House then on her next seasonal reappearance. We had a runner in a race that day, and Dara came in. He was not very happy. I think he thought he was going to win half the track. And then she won well at Limerick at Christmas. Disappointed for whatever reason at Leopardstown, no idea why. And then goes to Cheltenham and wins a competitive 19-runner handicap by 6 lengths. I think she definitely stay further. I think she handles any ground, to be fair to her. She's won on better ground in the UK as well. She's up to 151 now. And I just think she's going to, that's a fairly decent mark from her. She's going to be contesting all those decent races at home. And I'm sure they're going to have Cheltenham in mind. So I think she's one. She might go under the radar a little bit, and she's not your usual open chaser to follow.
Not a bad one. Good winner last year at the festival. Andrew, your first open chaser for the season.
Right. My first one
Above.
is...
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, wow. No, Onana must have done something. So we got text Onana laughing faces. Oh, holy God. What do you have to do this time?
United are losing 1-0.
Shock.
Who scored?
Harry Kane, guaranteed.
Oh, it's not out yet. I'll update you next one.
Right. My first open chaser is Banbridge. Yeah. I was expecting a worse reaction. Look, the same as Tom. Like the open division is hard to kind of grab one this early of the season. But this is one. The other one that's kind of more obvious. But this is the one I think is kind of not obscured, but I think this is
Leroy Sané.
Leroy Sané. Okay. This is the one where I think he could be improving this season. He started off last season beating a horse called Indigo Breeze at Gorn Park by 8.5 lengths. Indigo Breeze then went on to be a half length, 3/4 of a length behind the Real Wacker at Cheltenham in the October meeting. November, when we were over there, we had our stones and everything else to do with it on him there. At November meeting, he whooped to Tommy's Oscar, and So Pretender was back in 3rd. And then Kubo's favourite horse, Pentland Hills, was miles back, and he was at the top of the hill, and they were all pulling up. Ran in the Drimmore, ran respectfully into 3rd. Then he ran against El Fabiolo, where he ran on late in the scene again, which goes to show that he does appreciate a step up and trip. Went on to miss Cheltenham, skipped Cheltenham, went on to Aintree, and more or less won easily enough at Aintree. Sage Star, the Turner's winner, was back in 5th, but look, you can probably right off that run with him running at Cheltenham. I think goes into the season Ryanair wide open. I have the betting here. I actually screenshotted it. It's a wide open market again. I'm going for divisions that are. There's no superstar there anymore. Look, you have Jonbon, who I think he's favourite right now. I think he'll go. I think he'll stay over 2 miles. You have Galliard de Mesnil. I think he's too slow for this. You have Allaho. Look, if Allaho comes back to anything like Allaho is, he'll be very, very hard to beat. You have Envoy Allen. Look, he'll run his race. And you have El Fabiolo, who's going champion chase. You have Shiskin, who's going Gold Cup. And then you have Banbridge, Fernie Hollow, who's dead, rest in peace. You have My Drogo, he's gone to Fergal O'Brien now. He needs to turn him inside out. Impervious, who we don't know if we'll see. Gallup Champ Stage Star, Everstone, the Rebacker. He, for all purposes known, he's going to be named at the Gold Cup. So he's 14-1 best price right now. I think this will be his only aim at the end of the season. Can't see him going Champion Chasers, too hot for him. This will be wide open if Envoy Allen can win it like last year. There's no reason why this fella can't step up to that and play a big hand. And I think 14-1 is a big price, and I think he'll pick up races going throughout the season. So I think he's a good one to keep on the right side of this season. And he won the Martin Pipe. Love a winner of a Martin Pipe.
Banbridge.
What's wrong with Banbridge?
No, I didn't say anything. I just said Banbridge.
That's the other one. I spent till 4 o'clock today trying to find a second open chaser that's not going to be obvious.
Hey,
so hard. Like.
Didn't spend long enough, so did you?
What time did you start? 10 to 4?
Quarter.
My first.
I'm so used to pressing this mute button. Sorry.
My first open chaser is the Real Waka, mentioned by Andrew there, and I mentioned him, I think, in the podcast on maybe last week. We were discussing horses when we were going through the flop or not, and I actually really like the Real Waka. I think his form is good. As long as novices that win the RSA can come back the second season and not be injured, they tend to be decent enough horses. Whether he truly stays the Gold Cup trip, I don't know, and I don't think so. But I do think he'll win his fair share of races the way he runs. And Andrew's already mentioned the Ryanair. I'd love to see him in the Ryanair. Doesn't look like they're going to go that direction, but maybe a long way through the season they'll realise that the Gold Cup is a little bit stronger. And maybe if Allaho doesn't come back, they'll revert to the Ryanair. And I could see him going very, very well in the Ryanair from the front. Stays 3 miles. Really, really good jumper. He's fantastic to watch jumping fences. He do ping him.
He's the definition of a steeplechase horse. He's just
tough. He just doesn't like horses passing him. He's tough, and he'll if you have a few pound on him, you know you're going to get a good run for your money.
No. Dallo, laughing face.
Serge Gnabry.
Oh, wow.
Serge Gnabry. Former Arsenal player.
He has to get, like...
That's 2-0.
But you know what?
And Harry Kane is in bed.
You'll see every United fan on Twitter with the green and orange scarves out. Oh, it's all the Glazers' fault. It's all the Glazers' fault. It's not them. See them 11 fellas standing on the pitch who can't stop people scoring. It's their fault. And that baldy fella standing on the sideline is his fault.
I had no idea he's talking about me there. See, the problem with United is we had so much success. Your fans are not willing to accept mediocrity.
Your fans?
Look, I know they're fucking terrible. But fans are not willing to accept mediocrity for a long few years to then come back around. And what he's trying to do is get rid of that kind of fucking horrible feeling in the club. Like Sancho basically saying, I'm not playing today.
Imagine that happened to Ferguson there. You'd be like, yeah.
Mason Greenwood and
with the under 19s, 921s, 19s.
Mason Greenwood and Anthony, instead of kicking footballs, kicking women, allegedly. So he's trying to get that out of the club, and he's going to need a couple of years to do that. Probably not going to get the time. Sean.
You're on flying form today.
Open chaser number 2.
Open chaser number 2.
Yeah, my open chaser number 2, and we've all sort of went down the same angle here of winning a horse for the Ryanair, and it's going to be conflated. He doesn't take much explaining. Everyone knows what this fella is. He's been at the top table, staying division for a while, winning 2 Grade 1s. But he ran a cracker in the Gold Cup last year, and I don't feel like he got home strong enough. And plus, I don't think he's as good as a horse at Brave Man's Game and Galloping the Champ. So I'd quickly put a line through that Aintree run. I think that was a race that just came too soon after. Like, if you look through the top 3, Brave Man's Game, Galloping the Champ were all beaten after running that Gold Cup. I think it took a hell of a lot out of them, more than expected, and they probably should have been put away after that run. But his best runs come, I believe, when he's been able to dictate in front at a slow gallop and kick away with his turning gears. It was seen at Leopardstown twice in 2022 at the DRF and at Christmas this year, where he was able to dictate from the front and kick and use his gears, and the stairs just didn't have the gears that match him. He did run in the Ryanair 2 years ago, and I believe this is where he should be coming back to. I think he was running a cracker that day, Allaho at his best, he was going to get beaten by in the second. But in a wide open division that the lads touched on, I think horses aren't going to go there. And the likes of looking at the bet, and Banbridge is probably a favourite that looks most likely to go there. I think Conflated be well in there of being able to compete with him. And I'd be hoping that Gordon has clued into last year that he didn't quite get home and probably sees the opportunity of an open Ryanair and an opportunity to win it. So I'm hoping that Conflated will be dropped back down a trip to the Ryanair. And at 20-1, he might represent a bit of value.
You're doing a lot of nodding there.
Yeah, I like Conflated. Conflated, nice horse. I think Tom already mentioned when he went on holidays the week before he went that
The year before he went.
Yeah, Conflated will probably pop up in Leopardstown and win his Grade 1 there again this year. It's pretty much, that's the way it goes, really, the last one. Tom, Open Chaser number 2.
Oh, please be right. No. Fucking hell, Andrew.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Down. No.
Why are they all the same? Like, there we go.
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
going on? Like,
I can read them.
they never changed. Like,
I can read them.
Oh, it's been a long ass day. Like, I don't. Oh, sorry, Tom. Off.
I have also gone down the route of finding a horse for the Ryanair, but unlike the lads, I've gone and found the winner of the Ryanair. His name is Jonbon. I think this lad, it could easily go up in trip. Could easily go up and trip this year. I think that's the way they were angling with him before Sandown. I can see him contesting some of the 2 mile division races in the UK, and then I can see them dodging El Fabulous and an Energamine when it comes to Cheltenham. I just think the Ryanair, as we've all kind of hit on, I think, is kind of there for the taking. And I said it about Jonbon, I think, at the end of last season. In fairness to this horse, the only 2 times he's been beaten in his life are by 2 freaks in El Fabiolo and Constitution Hill. We'll get on to Con Hill later, but El Fabiolo is certainly a very, very good horse and showed that at Cheltenham. And then Jonbon's come back, and at Sandown, he's beaten the older horses. He's rated 166 already, which would suggest he doesn't really have to improve that much more at all to be competitive in the Champion Chase or Ryanair. And yeah, I'm looking forward to him. I think the Ryanair is the most likely place he'll end up, and I think he'll win it. To be honest, I think he'll win well.
It's a shame he picked the Champion Chase horse.
Yeah, I'm convinced Hendo thinks he's going to beat the Irish horses. I'm convinced of it. I think he thinks Jonbon is better than what he showed at Cheltenham.
All of last season, Hendo was on about going up in trip, and I saw the things after Cheltenham. He was on about going up in trip, and it sounds like Aidan was kind of saying, on better ground, he feels like a 2 mile horse. So they've gone to Sandown. I can see him contesting those races, looking again like he'll take a step up in trip, and then when they look at the 2 races and weigh it up, I think they'll go for the Ryanair.
Yeah, I think what you're hoping for, Tom, is that he doesn't win the Tingle Creek, because if he wins the Tingle Creek, you're having to hope he's going to Ryanair.
Nailed on then.
And it's most likely he will win the Tingle Creek.
I think he'll win the Tingle Creek, but I still think he's going to look like he'd take a step up in trip. So.
I think if Aidan has anything to do with it, he'll go Champion Chase. He's convinced he's miles better over 2 miles.
Yeah, even when he won the Celebration Chase, Aidan was like, that didn't feel like the horse that I rode at Cheltenham. It felt like Jonbon. Didn't feel like Jonbon at Cheltenham. Andrew, your second Open Chaser?
My second Open Chaser, and let's hope I picked the
It's
right
there.
one. It's there. Is Jerry Colombe.
What?
What?
What's he going to win?
Now, listen.
Thyestes.
Here's the thinking behind it. Let's not get this confused that he's going to be Galton Champ or anything like that. Let's not get confused here. Let's not get confused here. Underrated horse, in my opinion. Is he going to be Galton Champ? I don't think so. But are we going to see Galton Champ as much as we see on this last season? I don't think so. And to me, he's the best 3 mile chaser in Ireland when you take away Galton Champ. Galton Champ doesn't turn up, he can pick up the rest of the races. He can also run the second season chases, the one in Down Royal. He can run in top handicaps, Thyestes, things like that. He's a lot of options there for him. He could go either or. When it comes to Gold Cup, though, I think he'll beat Galton the Champs. If Galton the Champs is who he was last season, not a hope in hell. Nothing beats Galton the Champs. But Galton Champ not around, and where I think a lot of people think that Galpin will have a lot quieter season than last year. He could be not album photo route, but race before Cheltenham, then Cheltenham. There's races there to be won, and there's not many 3 mile chasers that are at a very high level coming through that are there to pick him up. So I think Galpin Shop's not around. Jerry Colomb picks up everything else. There's this big stigma about Jerry Colomb needs heavy ground. I was looking through his form today, and he's won on yield and he's won on soft. He's won on good to soft twice. He's won on soft. He's won on heavy. He can win on any ground. So he's very. He can win on any ground, run on any ground. I think he's just going to improve throughout the season. And look, he got beat by the real Baca in the Brown Advisory. I think 2 of them run over 3 miles on the Gold Cup course. I have Jerry Colomb finished ahead of him every day of the week. I think he's a better stayer. I think they learned a lot from Cheltenham on how to ride him properly. You can see that then at Aintree where they bolted up under Davy. On the right horse, a lot of people will crab him, but I think, again, if Galpin Champ is having a light season, there's a lot of races for him to pick up, even in the handicap scene. So, Jerry Colomb.
Jerry.
Some of the comments are great. Cliff Horse number 2.
That's the first time I've ever put up that horse. Bar Aintree. That's the only time I put him up.
Ben, I often disagree with Ben, but he's a good crack. He's Santini, but actually a few pounds worse.
Oh, poor old Santini.
The best more goes to Samno, who said Cherry wouldn't win a seller's race at Mullins Yard.
Like,
do you
there's going to be people that say that, but you go through. Name me another 3 mile chaser that in Ireland, bar Galpin the Champ, that's kind of at that level. Conflation's the one that's closest to him. Yeah, but he's.
I know.
I guarantee he'd be conflated.
Like
I guarantee he'd be conflated.
Jerry's not a bad horse. The only race over fence he's lost is the RSA. Is
It's
it?
the only chase he's ever lost.
No, he's a good horse. I wonder if he's in Willie's yard. Would they give Brian Hayes a ride on him? Just for a little dig after today.
What happened today?
Gordo took out some horses.
I've been very busy today, Tom. Tom for not on holidays 24/7.
Gordo took out some horses and he wanted Danny Gilligan to ride Jevery, and Brian Hayes was chalked up and point blank refused to get off.
Stop.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So
yes, Brian.
Brian Hayes is never getting a ride off Gordo again. That's just the end of that.
He is on the blacklist.
Wait until you see the Twitter and the Racing TV interview, Andrew. I've never seen anything like it. It's hilarious.
Gordo's one.
Gordo gave an interview. He's quite
Full on head loss.
Really?
Oh, very much.
Oh, I have to see this.
It was basically, he's never getting a ride off me again. This is the end of that.
Put it this way, Gordon doesn't like being scammed.
Only right he would get now is off Rachel.
And Jevery was pulled up.
Was he?
He was.
I wonder why.
I
didn't travel the hour, Gordo.
My second open chaser to follow.
Oh, how did I miss that? Open chaser number 2.
La Home Presse should be back in business. A nice horse. Close second to, although he went through a fence at the end of the, what's the thing around Kempton? The King George. The thing around Kempton. The King George.
It's only at the dawn on me. I think I know what's up with the speakers. I'll fix it for next day. It's only at the dawn on me there. But anyway, go on.
Two shows too late.
Sean, is that a bottle of Heineken?
Baby Guinness.
Oh, it's in the green.
Only likes Volvic. Told me that when he was down in Waterford.
I'd agree. Volvic is the nicest water.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Home Presse coming back. Good horse, Venetia horse, former RSA winner. Saw him last year. He won up at Newcastle there carrying a big weight and then got injured in the King George. Looking forward to seeing him back. Maybe take a couple of runs for him to get fully fit. But he should be up there in the top grade 1 chases then, as long as he's as good as he was.
Any news on him?
He's a horse.
Still has 4 legs.
Still has a green jacket.
White sleeves?
Yeah, they're kind of beigey.
Oh, beige.
Beigey, I'd say.
That's just because
they're not quite white.
Because in the brown advisor, there's so much muck on it. Look like.
Yeah, they're not quite white. But yeah, Brave Man's Game is clearly a very, very good horse. Get so close to galloping the Champ. And then La Home Presse was right there with him in the King George. So I'm very much looking forward to him coming back. Hopefully we see him early in the season and get a good couple of runs. And whether he's good enough to beat the Brave Man's Games, the Gallopins of the world, I don't think so. I said that last year. Didn't think he'd beat Gallopin, but I think there's good prizes in La Home Presse.
Either Chase.
No. Maybe the Hennessy.
I hope that's good this year.
Maybe the Hennessy, but my dark horse, I think, is going to win the Hennessy. Sean, your dark horse for the season, your dark chaser.
Help me out here. This?
Yes.
Good man.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that's the one. You just saw what's happening to the run today. You couldn't write this stuff. But Salvador Ziggy for Gordon Elliott. He made the switch to Gordon last summer and he just improved a bundle. He went 4 on the straw and then he went up to the Cheltenham October meeting where he ran behind Shoe First, got himself nicely qualified in 4th and was put away down until the Cheltenham Festival. He then ran a cracker that day. I mean, he was beaten by Good Time Johnny, but how well he was in on the day was very much a lot of pounds in hand he had that day bolting up the hill. But Salvador Ziggy ran very well, a long time off, carrying a top weight. He was primed for that race, ran well in my opinion. He was back down to Punchtown where he ran no sort of race, but was then taken back out in June where he started his chase campaign. He won. He was then put away till August, and he got 2 quick runs, winning by 12 and 13 lengths to get his mark to run the Kerry National today. And today I thought it was a good run. People might look and say that he was beaten, but I think he turned in, and the ground and the weight, I think, got the better of him today. I think running on the softer ground and carrying a big weight, he was beaten by the horse that got in at the last minute, number 20. He was 15 pounds less than him. I think that paid massively today in the conditions. I think that's what picked him up at the line. There is one thing I want to note, but he has pricked his ears twice, and I wonder will Gordon go to headgear now? He pricked his ears when he got to the front of the Thames like he had the job done. And again today, Jack Kennedy was quite keen, if you have a look, to stick to the quarters of Chemical Energy for as long as he had. But he had to go by him going to the second last. And as soon as he did, Salvador Ziggy pricked his ears and didn't look like he wanted to go through with the full effort. He's then picked up late. But I think he's going to be Gordon's number 1 horse for the 4 miler. And I think he's one that you should get on side and have in the book. I know Willie has all his horses to come out, and then Willie's going to have his number 1. But he's going to go to Cheltenham probably in October. I think it's October or November. Have his 3-mile race then and put away. He might be forgotten about because people have a tendency to go for a recency bias when it comes to Cheltenham. And I think at the top of everyone's mind will be just Willie's horse, wherever Willie has for it. I think he's a good one to have in the book. And potentially come today, you could nearly be backing 2 horses in the race and making money. So I think Salvador Ziggy is a good one to get in the book for the National Hunt Chase.
Think you had the handbrake on, Sean? You're very fond of Goro handbrakes.
Handbrake today? Absolutely not. He went there to win. I think the conditions probably got the... yeah, I think the soft ground got the better of him. I'm really surprised he even ran, to be honest with you.
Sean, I like your honesty. I'll have to give you that because twice now that horse has pricked his ears and stopped like he cannot be arsed to even walk over the fucking line.
Yeah,
so I could not back him with Dave's millions.
I wouldn't be surprised Tommy rocks up on the day with an application of cheek pieces or blinkers, to be honest with you.
Application of outdoor stable.
What I don't get about Ziggy is
got so frustrated there.
what I don't get about Ziggy is the 2 races that have counted, he's pricked his ears and not wanted to go through with it, and all the other ones he just sauntered to the finish line. So it's a bit weird.
I think it's the fact that he has to come off the bridle. He comes off the bridle and he goes, yeah.
Like he genuinely went horizontal at Cheltenham in the Thames when he went to the front. Like he went.
It's like watching Mighty Potter.
Yeah, and you can even see him. Like if you watch him going to the second today, you can see the ears going in. Sure, by the time he comes down to the last, the 2 of them are like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's now cheek pieces or blinkers maybe per annum come the big day when he's expected to do best.
But you know what it is though. Even when he gets past, he doesn't seem like he's harsh to go after him again.
I like Ziggy anyway. Hopefully he wins the national chase. He's way too short though. 8-1 in September. It's too short.
Gallopin wasn't too short then.
I think he's a good one to have on side. Like if you have him on side, I believe he's going to be Gordon's number 1. Then you have a Willie number 1, and I bet me bottom dollar if you have them two on your side, you'll probably be making money in the National Hunt Chase. So I think he's one just to get in the book and hold there, and then perhaps back the Willie one, if so, or stick more on Ziggy come Cheltenham time.
I believe you will find that he'll be offside.
No, I like Ziggy, and I said to Andrew as well.
I was giggling away there or something.
I said to Andrew, there'll probably be a 6-5 Willie Mullen shot go off in it. One of the yaks from the Bartlett, like Embassy Gardens or something, that wins one race over fences and looks like a tourist there, and it'll go off favour and be shite. Or
Like
that
the winner
other
last year.
Seabank Bistro.
Oh, that thing's a
fella.
fucking dog.
That's the one.
Well, what's the winner, Tom? Go ahead.
No, I don't know. I don't know what will win that yet. But
I thought you said you had the winner.
Salvador Ziggy anyway.
Tom, your dark horse.
You might have got a quick glimpse of that earlier on.
Yeah, the first
he
one I'm
loves
going to
this
throw up. Some of you may have heard of this horse, some of you mightn't. West Balboa, trained by Dan Skelton. We have her full sister, Cotty. So that's kind of how she's been on
There we go.
That's kind of how she's been on my radar, though. In fairness to her, she's looked very good. She was second in the Challow a couple of years ago behind Stage Star. The form of that looks pretty decent now. She then was second on her comeback run after a year off in a nice handicap. At Sandown, she looked all over the winner that day, and then she won the Lanzarote, and then she came out and absolutely annihilated the field in a 22-runner handicap at Aintree. Skeleton's always been on about going chasing with her. The owners were saying she reminds them of Roxana. They had her in the mares, in the mares hurdle, but they took her out of that and gave her a bit more time because she had such a hard race at Kempton. Interesting to see where they go or what they do with her, if they go chasing or what. But I'm going to follow her kind of wherever she goes. I think Dan Skelton's always had a very high opinion of her from what I hear. So, yeah, she's one to keep on the radar, I think, for the season ahead.
Not bad. Sticking with the family member.
The family.
Andrew, Open Chaser, or Dark Horse to follow.
I think you might like this one.
Go on. Oh, jeez.
Good old Braun.
Yeah.
Now, this is
look at the race he quotes him in the Gold Cup.
But this is only quotes from
me sideways.
the race. I'm not putting him up for a Gold Cup. There's no hell in the Gold Cup. This is the handicap route.
Is he going fighting a YouTuber?
I hope so. Good old Dex favourite horse, Braun. Look, I found it near on impossible to put up a dark horse here when I said, I looked.
I like him.
I looked at it and I went, "Oh, Braun could pick up a few handicaps this year." We talked about Testes earlier on with Jerry. Hey, Testes, tailor-made for this fella. In the depths of winter down in Gorman Park, muck up to his tonsils, headbutting horses.
Fights other horses.
So horses stopping in front of me, nothing them going past them. Oh, I think he's tailor-made for Testes.
Every time the horse is mentioned, I just get flashbacks to when he bit the fence going around the fucking parade ring. Oh my gosh.
Like, he has one of these big pots in him. He was second to Jerry at Fairy House before, and he ran on in a few greater races. Look, he's not a grade one horse, but he's this kind of horse that he could pop up in these nationals. Like, he could pop up in the Irish National, he could pop up into Estes, races like this. Yeah, I think he's a bit of a dark horse going forward.
I'd like to meet Braun.
So would I.
I would.
I'd be scared though.
Genuinely. I guarantee he's like a puppy in the stable, and he just walks out the stable and starts kicking everything.
Yeah. I have more in my head of what's his name out in Henry's. Oh, he finished place in the goal. What did he? No, he ran.
Harvey the Goat.
No, Harvey the Ghost is the only thing that calms this thing down. Monolly,
yeah.
Oh, Monolly is a fucking head case. Kicking the door, headbutting the ball. You go near him, he tries to bite you. That's what I imagine Braun is like.
I have a funny feeling he's very quiet at home, and then he just goes nuts then when he gets let out.
He's just a lovable little fucker, isn't he?
Yeah, when he's trying to bite stuff, it's the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, I think he could be going doing big handicaps.
Who would win in a race between Braun and Salvador Ziggy?
A race, probably Salvador Ziggy. A fight, Braun every day of the week.
Oh yeah, Braun's going to win every fight that he takes.
I'd say Braun will just break his heart. Braun will
I
break
think
his
it'd be
heart.
a dead heat. It'd be a dead heat. Neither of them want to get their head in front, so they just go past the line together. Ears break.
I think if Braun was throwing the headbutt, he might get in the photo finish. The head going forward.
You're wrong.
That's a race. There we go. There's the 4 miler. There's the 4 miler horse.
Wouldn't be
There we
surprised.
go.
I wouldn't be surprised if
Look,
Braun
Sean
is.
shitting himself.
I wouldn't be
Go on,
surprised if
Braun.
Braun is in the 4
I'm
miler.
texting Deco, telling him to have
Can he-
stones on him.
can
I
he
would say
run?
he'd be in the 4 miler.
He won
No,
a
he can't
beginner.
be, sure.
no?
He's not novice. He's not novice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know.
yeah, forgot about that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
he should have gone for it last year.
That was a good dream.
Should have gone for it last year.
I think anyway, he might pick up a decent handicap.
And last but not least, my dark horse, he's already been mentioned, nonetheless. And it's Monbeg Genius. The form of the ultimate, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Look
the
at
festival.
the little smug head on the fella from Dublin.
The Festival Handicap Chase or something, whatever it's called. Now, Cormac went on to win the Grand National fast or slow, although I don't think he's better than Galloping a Brave Man's Game. He did win the race at Punchestown. Monbeg Genius was put away. I think he'll win the Hennessy, and I think he'll win a couple more races along the way too. Very shrewdly campaigned by John Joe, and John Joe does very good with these 3 mile chasers. Over the years, he's had numerous good ones. Clot Cap being one that won the Hennessy. No, but did he? He did.
He won the Hennessy, then he done.
And then he
Fuck
fell
off.
apart.
He
He
fuck
fell
off.
apart. But he won that season. He won the Hennessy. He was very good. Remember, Tom had the stones on him on the national.
Yeah, that didn't turn out well.
Oh, no, not the best.
No, he wasn't in the great mood after that.
And
I
then
hate
He wasn't in the best of humor.
he just said he hates Clot Cap now.
I thought he said he hated
No, I
the
hate the
national.
national.
No, see, he
Oh,
did.
okay.
He did. He said he hates the
Fair.
national. I heard right.
You've had a bad one, a bad time with the national. But yeah, I think Monbeg Genius is going to win a couple of good races at decent prices. So I agree with Sean.
I wouldn't be surprised if he turns up at Chepstow. He's ran 2 crackers there and a Welsh national in around Christmas. I reckon he will go to Hennessy and then probably onto something like a Welsh national. He's gone well around that Chepstow. So there probably is 2 races early on to catch him.
Yeah, I think he's a decent horse.
Yeah, the form has been frank, so we're just waiting for him to come out.
Yeah, I think he's.
Sometimes it doesn't end up working the way you think it's going to work, but we'll see.
But he looks like he's a horse that has a lot more to give.
I wonder, will he give him the old hurdle run first?
After the hurdles, go back and try win that.
No, will they just get him fit over hurdles?
No, I think they might aim for that again.
Schooling in public, shall we say?
Oh, out there. As we like to call it, the sire de Burley.
Yes. Yep. That brings us to the end of our horses to follow. Tom, however, has hurdlers to go through, which he will go through Sunday. On Sunday, we will go through those hurdlers for Tom. 5 picks, same as Tom thought he was going to do it today.
No, Dave, I must have missed your first open chaser because you haven't put up Fernie Hollow yet. What's going on?
No, Tom, I keep telling you, Fernie is...
He's getting very angry, Tom. Stop.
No, Fernie's no longer with us, I wouldn't think.
All right,
He is.
I'm not sure he is, Tom, to be quite honest.
I wouldn't be so
all
sure.
that matters. Do you know what all that matters, though? His little brother's around.
Still brothers around, Tom. Get on. Supreme or Ballymore.
Can I just
We
do
glass
my
legs 2.0.
because that's one of them.
What?
Have you got a graphics for my novice hurdlers? Because that's one of them.
No. But yeah, he was one of my novice hurdlers as well. So, Baby Fernie.
That's like
His
2.0.
His name is Mirazor West, but in technical terms, it means Baby
Glass
Fernie.
legs 2.0.
When translated to Waterfordian.
Baby Fernie. Thanks as ever to our sponsors, Glistian Events. We don't have any competitions, but I'm sure we'll have more competitions in the future. There's always competitions.
Yes, there was competitions. They always have them on their Instagram Live. So if you go to Instagram and check it out, they always have their Instagram Live. I think the next one is a tailor-made driver. Name out of the top of my head is gone. It's worth like €600.
Yeah, there was a competition on Instagram or one of them things. Andrew won some new balls. He needed new balls, and he won them.
I did. Because the ones I have now are null and void.
Nice tailor-made balls.
Yeah. Do you know how much they are? I looked up to see how much the boxes are. €60.
Well, you got them free.
I
Amongst
did.
other people. Actually, one of the guys next door that follows the podcast, he works next door. He won him too.
Did he?
Yeah.
There we go. See what happens when you start following Glistian on all our social media channels. Check them out on GlistianEvents.com, GlistianRacing.com, and GlistianGolf.com. Boom. And they have news coming out in the next week or so. They're going to have the first runner of the new horses in South Africa. I'm trying to get him to come over and have a race at Pimlico horse. That would be great content.
Zoffany Bay.
Last race. Oh, this would be some content.
Versus Bob.
How about we do this? We get Zoffany Bay against Bob. We bring Zoffany Bay and all of us over to South Africa. Some crack.
Yeah.
Pimlico scarves and everything.
Pimlico scarves. And we say hello to our purple friends over there and all that jazz.
No, we will not. I won't.
You're gonna be struggling for bloody horses at this rate, lads.
Shifty lad has asked, right? I must be 10 times now. What pub is Alfie's, lads?
Alfie's.
Alfie's is Alfie's.
Called Alfie's.
The name of the pub is fucking Alfie's.
Alfie Hales.
Alfie's.
Alfie Hales, to be precise.
It's not a made up fake name like Mirzor West. It's Alfie's.
It's in Ballybricken in Waterford. I say Waterford, weird. Waterford. Blaland.
Let's all do skeleton. Let's all do the skeleton. Let's not.
I tried to get odds on Paddy Power. Odds are.
He actually asked Paddy, can I get odds on skeleton doing that and falling off? They wouldn't do it.
They wouldn't do it. Don't give it to me.
Probably going to happen.
If anybody can get any bookmaker to get me odds on that for next season, please let me know.
That note, we'll see you Sunday. On Sunday, big discussion, Con Hill, Imperial Pass. If there's any more news in the coming days regards National Hunt season, it just shows you, like I said at the start of the podcast, Tom wasn't here. Within 6 hours, some National Hunt horses took over Twitter. The whole flat season has been fucking null and void. Terrible. I like the flat, but there's just no excitement to it.
More
National Hunt on Sunday. Tom's hurdlers to follow. 5 of them. See you Sunday.
I didn't even get a word in there, but anyway, yeah, we'll see you Sunday.